Cannot wait for Saturday.
Big fight. It's a fight night.
I cannot wait. Rewatching the fight last night got me more amped up than ever at my peak for when I was into this matchup initially last year. With Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Álvarez, middleweight division between these two. You're going to be covering the fight in Las Vegas, Nevada, so that is awesome. Follow him on Twitter at BSO. By the way, before we jump into this topic overall, I am Rick Strom. Thank you for watching. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, we will be live streaming the show, so be sure to check that out. So Canelo Álvarez, Gennady Golovkin, finally we have part 2. And ESPN put out some interesting graphics that I want to show you. Best middleweights of the 21st century. Bernard Hopkins, rightfully so, is number 1. Number 2 and 3, Triple G, and Gennady Golovkin.
Terrible list.
Punches landed per round by top middleweights, Gennady Golovkin, Bernard Hopkins, Canelo Álvarez. Punch stats for the last 5 fights, the amount of rounds shows the power that Gennady, and finishing ability, uncanny finishing ability that Gennady Golovkin has. Total punches in the most recent fight, this is also pretty interesting. Because Gennady Golovkin did throw a crap ton of punches when Canelo Álvarez got tired starting in the 4th round and mainly coming out of his shell once his lifelong trainer, finally told him that you got to get your ass in the game. You got to start throwing. The tail of the tape between these two, 8 years.
That's the
Gennady Golovkin, right?
Yeah, that's a big number. Yeah.
Huge number.
5 times undefeated.
38-0-1, 34 knockouts. They both have 34 knockouts. Gennady Golovkin, I'm also surprised that he doesn't have the reach advantage, considering that he has 2.5 inches on Canelo Álvarez. The notable fights for Gennady Golovkin, the split decision, of course, against Canelo Álvarez. That Daniel Jacobs fight for him was brutal. That fight against Kell Brook in the first 2 to 3 rounds, brutal until he beat the pulp out of Kell Brook. That was across the pond. David Lemieux, Vanez Monterosion, and then Martin Murray. Martin Murray, one of the more underrated boxers. And then Canelo Álvarez, the most notable fights for him, the split decision, of course, against Gennady Golovkin. He beat the tar off of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That was a prove-it fight. When he literally wasn't even taking any time off in between rounds. He stood the entire time to prove a point. Knocked out Amir Khan, who hasn't. The unanimous decision against Miguel Cotto. The one that I did not score, split decision against Arislandi Lara. I thought Lara actually won that fight.
A lot of people thought Lara won.
And then the loss against Floyd Mayweather Jr. Here's where the controversy comes in. Canelo Alvarez tested positive on February 17th and 20th for the weight loss accelerant stamina elevator clenbuterol. He maintains he did not knowingly ingest it and claimed that the positive tests were due to contaminated meat. And here is what Nike and Jordan Brand put out via Gennady Golovkin. The shade thrown is almost insurmountable, and yet we love it.
Superhuman power requires a special ingredient. And it's called hard work.
Abel's been he's been the best promoter of the fight.
Seriously.
He really has.
He's been great.
Painted meat.
He's been great. Oh my goodness. It reminds me of when in Sunny, when Frank screws with Charlie, and Charlie out of nowhere goes, "Ha! Raccoon meat!" I should have just had Charlie Kelly do the outro. So, scoring this fight last night, once again, we were texting a little bit. I still had it 7-5. I could have gone 8-4 with the last round going to Golovkin, but I still had 7-5. The one name that you, or the one scorecard rather, that you brought up was Adelaide Bird's ridiculous 118-110 for Canelo Alvarez. She is off, not working the fight.
I think the majority of people felt like Triple G won the fight, and I think the majority of people would have been okay with a draw if the scorecards were in line with that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you had one scorecard that was so wide, it's just, out of control. But I think both fighters, interestingly enough, if they watch the fight, they should know what they need to do to make sure that they win the fight. If you're Canelo, it's just simple like, hey, I did good at the beginning, I did good at the end. If I can figure out a way to do that in the middle, I shouldn't have any problem.
But this happens all the time, Robert, with Canelo. He always gets tired in the middle rounds.
Well,
whether it's round 6, in this fight, the last fight against Gennady Golovkin, it was round 4, he always gets tired.
Well, does that make sense about the clenbuterol? Because that's supposed to give you extra oxygen, a little more stamina.
It could, but my problem with supporting that point is that almost every single Mexican athlete has been popped for this because of the meat that they raise in Mexico.
Counterpoint.
Please.
If you know that every Mexican Mexican athlete has been popped for it, it's much easier for you to do because that way, if you get caught, you can say every Mexican.
Very much so, or you just need the protein, and you're not going to train. You're not going to live in the United States your entire time when you represent Mexico.
Well, you can if you're training for a fight. I mean,
yeah, but are you training for 8 months or 10 months? You need the protein.
But at the time that he was caught, the fight was 8 weeks away. It wasn't like 8 months away. It was 8 weeks away.
Right, because he was still training in Mexico.
Right, he should have just came like he did for this one to San Diego.
I'm telling you, it's too high of a percentage.
Nah, he cheated.
And too high of a rate. I don't think so. It's too high. It's too high of a rate that even a lot of the Mexican athletes that were going to the Olympics were popped for this very thing.
Second counterpoint.
Hit me.
If you already know that this is prevalent in Mexico, why are you not checking your meat? Why are you not getting your meat for the finest?
Right.
You Canelo Álvarez.
I remember covering this.
He's worth $50 million. You're telling me you can't find a good steak? He's getting a steak from Denny's?
I think it's... Is that the name of the farm? No, I remember researching this a little bit. It's impossible. It's impossible in Mexico right now. They've been going through this crisis for a while to have clean meat. So then what's the alternative? Go to the US, have your work visa be cool, right? Come to the US, but stay away from your family that much longer. I wouldn't want to do that either.
$30 million, your family can come with you. It's not like your family has to go to Walmart and work.
Look, I know a lot of people are going to be like, what are you smoking? By the way, it's marijuana. Secondly, on top of that, Canelo Alvarez is represented by who? Oscar De La Hoya. That's where it comes into play, where everyone's like, either you love him or you hate him. You can't be in the middle. I am. He's a promoter. He's a promoter who promotes Canelo Alvarez, who he greatly represents. So anybody that hates Oscar De La Hoya is also going to hate Canelo Alvarez and be on the other side.
I can understand. It's still, I don't buy it. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
Here's the thing.
That's fine. That's where we disagree.
Even if I buy your explanation that it was the meat, the problem with that is, how stupid are you? You know that it's going on.
You need the protein.
You can get, I'm telling you, you can get meat in Mexico. You've been to Mexico before, haven't you?
I have.
There's nice places in Mexico.
I wasn't tested for clenbuterol, though, when I had an amazing steak.
Let's test you right now. Go to
All right, let's do it. Fine,
let's get to the fight, though.
All right, let's get to the fight. Who do you got?
Who do you got?
Who do you got?
Who do you got?
Gennady Golovkin. I got Gennady Golovkin. He won the first fight. What did he do in the interim?
He beat up another guy.
He knocked out Vanez Martirosyan, right? He knocked him out in 2 rounds. He looks great.
I honestly think this is a situation where they know if Canelo sticks to his boxing, they have a hard time beating him.
But it's not about the boxing, dude. It's about him getting tired.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. They want him to be mad and angry. That's why they're doing the commercials. That's why they're talking crazy about it. Because they want him to engage the full time. Because like you said, if you're fighting like the full time, all the time, and you're so mad, you go out there in the first 4 rounds and you shoot your load. What's gonna happen in the 6, 7, 8 rounds? It's a expression. Relax.
Canelo Alvarez,
relax.
Coming to fruition in the boxing ring per se. Had no idea that was going on.
So now in the 7th, 8th round, you did all
Hope everyone's undercover.
Whew. 7th, 8th round, now you're tired, and now Triple G does what he needs to do. But if Canelo was smart, and he was listening to me, because I'm the greatest boxer trainer of all time, he would do exactly what he was doing in those first rounds and those last rounds. Box, defense, try to combinations, hold, don't get into a battle. I don't care what your Mexican fans say. I don't care Mexican style. Do you want to win?
Mexican warrior mentality.
Or do you want to take the W and get the hell up out of there with your $30 million? Or do you want to prove a point and then prove the point and get knocked out?
It was round 8 or 9 when Canelo landed that overhand right and Gennady just stood there like, is that all you got? That's when I knew. I already had Gennady Golovkin ahead because he went on that rampant run when Canelo Alvarez got tired where he won like 5 straight rounds, something like that. That one shot was like, there's no chance for Canelo. He could throw the kitchen sink at Gennady Golovkin, which he did. and Golovkin just continued to stand there. Gennady Golovkin made Canelo Alvarez uncomfortable by fighting in a phone booth, by fighting at the distance. His ring generalship was amazing. He cut off the ring. Canelo Alvarez in that 4th round is where it literally turned because he did the whole, come on, hit me. And then he got hit. And then he got hit. And then he got hit. So it was the wrong strategy of a braggadocious nature for Canelo Alvarez to go up against the ropes and try to pull a rope-a-dope, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman. And it didn't work. And it won't work.
The good thing for Canelo, he took some pretty good shots. And he didn't really seem bothered too much. I mean, you know, nobody, like I've never seen Triple G hurt, like ever. So I don't expect that, you know, to change unless something, you know, crazy happens. But if you're Canelo, you took the power and you were coming on strong at the end. So the question is, will he feel a little bit more brave? You know, sometimes you feel, you're like, okay, I made it 12 rounds with Triple G. He can't hurt me. And now all of a sudden you're feeling a little more brave and you're exchanging a little more. But I think if the odds are if somebody's going to get knocked out, it's more likely it would be Canelo than Triple G.
I think it goes to the cards again, by the way. I don't think anybody gets knocked out.
They have a very good chance. If Canelo box, trust me, listen to me. Forget about Mexican style.
Forget about
Mexican warriors.
No more.
Mexican steak. Just box for 12 rounds and you'll win the fight. Don't let them fool you. Don't let the Nike commercial, even though it's a very good commercial.
Very good commercial. Abel Sanchez. Phenomenal spot. All right, enjoy the fight. Let us know your thoughts. Comment section below. Subscribe to TYT Sports. We'll see you soon.
I need a steak right now.
If you made it to the end of this video, mazel tov. If you want to see more, hit the bell and hit subscribe. Why don't you?